Welcome to Morning Vibes with Dr. Jerry the First, episode 312. It's Monday, the 23rd day of July 2018. I am Dr. Jerry the First Oguzie, and this morning I am looking at this question: will you make a comeback? This story you're about to listen to is not my story. It belongs to a friend of mine who has graciously granted me the permission to share it with you. Here it goes. Tom Brady had the comeback of his career. How about you? This story will certainly touch the raw nerves in you if you have been hit by a recession or downsizing or whatever name it is called. I was feeling a bit off that morning. It was September 18th of 2001 and my youngest had probably passed on a flu bug. I remember driving to work and debating if I should call in sick. There's a creepy feeling you get, like something is not quite right and you know the work day won't go as planned. When I arrived at my office, I went straight to my desk. Before I was able to unpack my laptop bag, my boss at the time arrived with a strange expression on his face. "We need to have a talk. Can you meet me in the conference room in 10 minutes? I wasn't really sure what was going on. It was only a week after 9/11 and the entire country was still reeling from the terrorist attacks in New York. I unpacked my gear, grabbed some coffee and headed to the conference room. When I entered there, I looked around and I knew something was wrong. My boss was sitting next to the corporate attorney. I knew him from a previous meeting. There were a few folks from HR. One of the directors of the firm was there as well, my old boss. I took a seat. "We have some bad news for you, John," my boss said. They gave me a few options. The company was not happy with a few things that had happened and were prepared to offer me a severance pay if I decided to leave. If I wanted to stay, they would have to discuss giving me a new role or making other arrangements. I knew what it was really about. The company was nervous about an economic downturn after 9/11. My boss said the company needed an answer in the morning and escorted me to the front door. He took my security card and confiscated my laptop. Then he shook my hand. That was almost 16 years ago. I never went back to my office. In fact, I never even packed up my office pictures of my keys, a few knickknacks, and all that. At home that night, my wife was the strong and stable one. I was a mess. After working in the corporate world for about 10 years, I was now out of options. We had 4 young kids at home. She had the hardest job of all, being a stay-at-home mom. "Well, you always wanted to be a writer," she said. It was true. I am formally trained as a journalist, but I had never used my education. In my corporate jobs, I had always dabbled with writing and leading writing teams and all that. As a kid, I dreamt of being a reporter for the magazines I read in the library. My wife and I talked for a few hours, and I decided I would call in and tell my boss I wouldn't be back, that I would take the severance. The truth is, I felt like I wasn't needed anymore. My career since college had always aced upwards, but now I was in a total free fall. It took many years, but I eventually carved out a writing career. It lasted much longer than my corporate career. In the past 16 years, I've written about 10,000 articles. Just recently, I passed another milestone. I've now posted 1,000 articles at Inc.com. And here's what I've learned. Who you are does not have to be defined by your career. In fact, who you are, your skills, your talents, your personalities, your traits, your ambitions should be separate from your job and your career. Your resume should not be a document that describes which positions you've held. Your resume should be a document that describes who you are and what you've accomplished. My defining moment was on September 18, 2011. I had to think about what I really wanted to do in my work life and abandon the idea that I was defined by that corporate job. I wasn't. My real identity in terms of career has more to do with my determination my perseverance, my dedication, and my loyalty. I've worked with some of the same editors, colleagues, and media relations personnel for well over a decade. And the one trait they tend to mention is that I'm a kind person and I'm dedicated. I know I'm not defined by my failure in that corporate job, but my own innate qualities and skills. What really happened to me is that I was down, but not out. That day when my corporate job ended was a low point, like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl last night, down 21-3 at the half. But the downturn didn't have to define me. I didn't have to wear an F on my suit coat. I didn't even need to wear a suit coat. Instead of accepting defeat, I immediately got to work that very next morning on a new career. You might say I never looked back. What about you? What failures have you experienced? How have you let failure define who you are? My advice is this: it's time to stop doing that. You have to dig pretty deep, but you have a set of talents and skills that are unique. You maybe experience a setback, but you can pull through. You are not defined by failure, but by your own unique skill sets. Will you make a comeback? That's a question to think about. We'll appreciate if you can drop a message for us as a reply on this podcast or on the blog post. Either way, until I come your way again, this is Morning Vibes with Dr. Jerry the First. This program is powered by Top Media and Communication Nigeria. All rights reserved. Thank you for listening to this broadcast today. It would please us to no end if you continue to visit our podcast. And so to be able to do that, kindly click on the red subscribe button towards your right to subscribe to our channel. In the same vein, also click on the bell beside the subscribe button so that you can always receive the notification for any new podcast we upload. Also give us a thumb up to like this podcast. These help us to grow. And do help us share the podcast to your friends in the different social media sites you belong to. Click on the share tab just below the podcast and share directly from there. The full text of this podcast is on our blog, and would you want to read it, kindly visit the blog. We have a Facebook page where we also post our podcast on a daily basis. If you're on Facebook, kindly like our Facebook page. The links to our blog and our Facebook page are in the description box right below. Thank you for your attention. Do have a very nice day.